In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the hum of traffic was like a never-ending song and the smell of roasted corn mingled with the salty sea breeze, there lived a young woman named Adaeze. She was a cleaner in one of the city's tallest buildings, a shining glass tower owned by one of the richest men in Nigeria, Chief Alhaji Musa Olowu. Every day, Adaeze woke before the sun, tying her faded scarf tightly around her head, and saying a quiet prayer before boarding the crowded Danfo to Victoria Island. Her uniform was always neat, even though it had long lost its color from countless washes. She was known in the building for her quiet smile, kind words and hard work. But what most didn't know was what she did after her shift ended. Adaeze never rushed home. Instead, she made her way to a small alley behind the marketplace, in Yaba, where a group of disabled and homeless people gathered daily. With the little money she earned, she bought bags of rice, tomatoes, and smoked fish from her cousin who owned a small stall. Then, in a dusty open kitchen lent to her by an old mama who respected her spirit, she cooked steaming pots of jollof rice, yam porridge, or okra soup, depending on what she could afford that day. The disabled people, some in wheelchairs, others crawling with worn slippers on their hands, waited patiently. They called her Mama Kindness. She fed them not just food but warmth and dignity, serving each plate with a smile and a gentle word. What she did was not known to the world, until one rainy Thursday afternoon. Chief Musa Olowu was known across Africa for his empire, real estate, oil, tech, he had it all. But he was also known to be hard, strict, and detached from the everyday struggles of ordinary people. That Thursday, he had a flat tire on his way to inspect one of his properties. Frustrated, he decided to take a walk while his driver fixed it. As he walked through Yaba, shielded under a black umbrella, his eye caught a crowd gathering near the alley. Curious, he stepped closer. There, under a leaking tin roof, was Adaeze, his cleaner, wearing a worn apron, sweat clinging to her face, spooning food into plastic plates and handing them to people who thanked her with tears in their eyes. She laughed as a little boy with no legs tried to dance with joy after getting his meal. Chief Musa stood frozen. He watched her take off her own wrapper and give it to an old woman who was shivering from the cold rain. He didn't say anything. He simply turned and walked away. The next day, Adaeze entered the office building like usual, unaware of what had happened. But everything had changed. She was called up to the top floor, where she had never been allowed before. Nervously, she adjusted her uniform and climbed the marble stairs. The secretary greeted her kindly, which was strange. Usually, people barely noticed her. When she entered Chief Musa's office, she gasped. The room was like a palace, with gold trimmings, leather chairs and a chandelier that looked like it could buy a house. The chief himself was sitting behind a huge table, reading a file. Adaeze, he said, looking up with a soft smile she had never seen on his face. Come in. She swallowed hard and stepped in. I saw what you did yesterday, he continued. You didn't know I was there. Adaeze's heart dropped. Was she in trouble? Was it wrong to be using that kitchen? Her voice trembled as she replied. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean any harm. But Chief Musa raised his hand gently. No, Adaeze, you did something beautiful. And it made me think. He stood up and walked toward her. For years I've been building towers, buying jets, giving speeches, but I forgot what it means to give without expecting anything back. You reminded me of that. Tears welled up in Adaeze. The chief continued. From today you are no longer a cleaner. I want you to manage a new foundation, one that I'm starting in your name. The Adaeze Kindness Foundation. We will feed the disabled, train them, give them shelter, and you will lead. Adaeze couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her knees gave way, and she fell to the floor crying. Sir, I don't know what to say. Say yes, he smiled. From that day, Adaeze's life changed forever. But more importantly, the lives of thousands changed with her. Under the foundation, feeding centers opened in Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and even remote villages. People who had been forgotten were fed, clothed and given a second chance at life. And Adaeze remained the same kind-hearted soul, never forgetting the alley where it all began. Chief Musa also changed. He began to visit the centers himself, speaking less in boardrooms and more in community halls. His heart had been touched by something money could never buy. The genuine love of a woman who had nothing, but gave everything. Years later, a young journalist asked Adaeze, "What made you feed those people, even when you had so little. She smiled, looked up at the sky and said, "Because I knew what it felt like to go to bed hungry, and I couldn't ignore their pain when I had the power to ease it, even if only for a day." And that is how a cleaner's kindness changed a billionaire's heart, and brought hope to a nation. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories like this. Thank you for watching.